Today I want to talk about giving our power away to the negativity in the world. Because when we let in the news, which is mostly negative, the negative stories on YouTube or social media, the negativity, and we're in fear, we give our power away, and I experienced this a little bit these last few days with there's all the fires, and I normally don't listen to the news or read the news. I'm normally quite careful about not only the food I nourish my body with, but also the information that I allow into my mind and into my energetic field. So I don't normally listen to the news, watch the news, read the news much. But with the fires in Los Angeles and having some friends there, I was on the news, on YouTube. I was watching the stories a little bit, not like a lot, but a little bit. But then kind of gives you this dopamine hit, of, I don't know, just like the negativity. And then I got onto some negative stories or sad traumas that people were going through, and I kind of got into the couple days of this, like, all the negative shit going on in the world, which there is a lot of. And there's so much beauty, and when I'm actually present, and I'm very privileged that this is my reality right now, and I acknowledge it's not everyone's reality, but I'm walking through Tulum, and there's a singer song going on with people gathering, and the beauty of the energy and singing songs together. And I go to my yoga studio that a beautiful woman just from her heart and soul is created, and it's a beautiful community and space and the energy in there. And I'm on my rooftop and I'm watching the beauty of the sunset. So there's so much beauty in my reality, and yet I have been on my phone for a few days with all these negative stories and traumas and hardships people are going through, and that weighs my energy down instead of being present with all the beauty that is. And I'm not saying ignore all the shit that's going on in the world. I think there is a place to focus some energy, to donate to the causes that you feel called to volunteer or do work or whatever. And I think it's so important that we are mindful of what we consume, are mindful of the stories, of the painful stories, the traumatic stories, the negative news stories we allow in, because it can be so easy to get caught up into thinking that this is reality. And it's a part of reality, but it's not the whole reality. We don't see on the news all the beautiful stories, and I'm in different groups where I'm seeing consciousness expand and people awaken to their power and their spiritual gifts and connecting to love and the oneness of all. And there's so much, like, when I'm in the communities I'm in, I'm like, there is just beauty, which is also a lie. There's all of it, but when I look to what is the more empowering story for me, and what energy do I need to be in so that I can own my gifts and share my gifts to my best ability, And when I'm believing all the negative, and their news is so, it's not reality, right? There's so much fake news and things and skewed realities that go on within that, right? But when I'm believing that that is all there is, and that is the truth, and the world is just this fucked up place with all this shit going on, I am disempowered. I'm in fear. And when I'm in a place of fear, I cannot share my gifts to my best abilities. I am not in a place of relaxation where I'm getting insights and downloads to create, to share, to be in my power, to do my part, right? And my part is being in my highest vibration so that I can tune into and tap into my gifts so that I can live my purpose. And if I live my purpose, that empowers other people to live. It's all the ripple effect, you know? But when we're in fear, we're controllable. When we're in fear, it's very hard to create from a new level of consciousness, you know, and we cannot solve the current problems with the same consciousness that we created them in. Fear, division, separation, hate. You know, we can't, fighting the old doesn't do anything. It keeps us stuck in the old. Stepping into a new level of consciousness, creating the new, focusing all of your energy and attention on the possibilities that don't need to be related to what has been. And it can be very easy to get caught up in that, right? But it's also very disempowering. And there's a lot of negativity, negative stuff out there, right? There's so many, like, let's take relationships for an example. There's so much on narcissism and toxicity and this and that and red flags and what to look out for. And there's not a lot on beautiful, conscious relationships. There is, and I'm finding those channels, and I'm focusing my attention there and learning from the beautiful examples of conscious couples who exist and how they've created their relationships and the hardships of it, the reality, not the painted perfect picture, because nothing is perfect, but you know, that's an example where there's so much more of the negative than stepping into the new and creating the new and focusing on the new. And what we focus on expands. And there is a place for, like, hey, watch out for narcissists. There is a place for that. I just think there's a little bit of off balance of how much information we have on the negative versus the creation of the new. And one is more disempowering, and one puts me in a state of fear and lack, and the other is exciting and it's empowering, and it creates this openness in my energy, in my nervous system. And I think it is important to look at, hey, what happens to my energy when I allow this type of information in, or when I hang out with this person? Does it weigh my energy down? Does it suck my energy, or am I energized? You know, and to be a little cautious, because I can only share my gifts and live my purpose to my highest when I put my needs first, and I put my energy first, and I nourish my mind, body, and soul. It's all interconnected. So I am now off of this few day of negative energy from the news, you know, and I'm back to being very careful and cautious about what podcasts I listen to and what people I'm around, and just feeling that shift in my vibration, and like, oh yeah, now I feel back to my power, and there is so much beauty in the world. This is an exciting time to be alive, and I know there's a lot of chaos, and I know there's also a lot of that stuff, and there is so much beauty. And if we focus on the chaos, that expands. And if we focus on the chaos and we're in fear, we're not in our power. I'm not in my power when I'm focusing on the fear. But when I focus on what a beautiful time to be alive, you know, a time when we can own our spiritual gifts and not be murdered for it, that's amazing, you know. And there's so many people waking up to who they are and owning their authenticity and their truth and owning their innate, unique gifts and sharing them and deconditioning from the way the world tells us we should be, the way the world tells us that, you know, if you do XYZ, you'll be happy. If you get that job and find that partner, you're gonna be happy, versus what actually fills you up from your heart and your soul. It's a beautiful time to be alive. We are in a shift and it's exciting. We can look at it that way. We can also focus on the negativity and the chaos. But I know for me, when I focus on the beauty of being alive in this moment on our earth, all right, and all the opportunities available, I can tap into my power and I can share my gifts from such an empowered place versus focusing on the fear and the chaos. And it matters, right? It matters. All of us who raise our vibration, are in our highest vibration to share our gifts, that matters, you know? And when we're in fear, we're just another lower vibration person in fear. And yeah, so I just want to give you permission to look at what's weighing down your energy. Whether that's people, the news, what you're reading, listening to, watching, who you're around. And nourish. Who are the most nourishing people to be around? What are the most nourishing channels on YouTube to watch? The most nourishing podcasts. So that you can fill your cup, fill your heart, be in your joy, to own and share your unique gifts, to go out into the world and share joy. Smile at people, you know, send love to people. That's what changes the world.